Hey there, everyone. Zach with Zach's Contraptions, trying out a brand new camera and a different angle. Normally, I look at all of you from that camera right there, but hopefully, this is higher quality, better picture, better sound, all of the things. Really trying to make an effort here. Hope everyone is doing well today. Right now, it is again my third Q&A session of the year, whereby, again, if you have any questions, comments about the upcoming Rube Goldberg Machine contest, your Rube Goldberg projects, if you're not affiliated with the official contest, you should be, by the way. I'm happy to answer anything, whether it be talk about my old contraptions, whether it be, again, if you have something that you want to be have clarified via the rule books. They are there's quite a number of pages through it. Happy to go through some things tonight. Some fun news as well. In the past month, it's been really exciting for me. I got to attend a playground conference whereby we have the brand new Rube Goldberg playground equipment that just debuted. Those videos are on my channel. I haven't been able to upload them to this at the moment, but check them out. Rube Goldberg playground equipment. It's going to be really phenomenal. And that's all part of our playground contest, whereby you can submit a design for your own playground in the style of Rube Goldberg. And the winner of that is going to have that design brought into real life. And we're going to donate that to a school or museum somewhere. Just absolutely really cool. I got to go to that. I gave a lecture at NASA. I mean, they gave me a hat as well, but I love talking with you folks, don't get me wrong. And for those listening who watch this later, but giving a presentation to some of the smartest people on the planet was intimidating. I speak professionally for a living. I speak sometimes correctly, but no, that was really amazing. And really, the connection between NASA and Rube Goldberg is much deeper than I originally even thought. For those of you that have seen Apollo 13 and remember putting the square peg in a round hole scene and how they had to improvise using everyday materials they had laying around on the lunar module and the oh god, I should know the words properly. They had laying around on the spaceship. That was very much a Rube Goldberg style problem. So look at that. Rube Goldberg applies to everything. And third, and probably most amazingly, is the fact that I have this in my hands after 3.5 years. This is the Rube Goldberg's Big Book of Building, whereby I've co-authored it with Rube's own granddaughter, Jennifer George. And this is supposed to be the STEM manual, the guide to getting anybody started into building Rube Goldberg machines. And I have a video, I think, that just came out today or yesterday doing the unveiling because I was stunned. I mean, it feels like a Guinness World Record book. It's beautifully illustrated. It's so incredible. And not only just, to toot my own horn that, hey, I have a book, but it really is. It's supposed to be this wonderful manual that showcases 25 machines that you can build at home using the things you have at home already. And that's the whole point of a Rube Goldberg machine, is taking everyday objects, putting them together in unique and creative ways. And so like some of the machines in this book are putting flowers in a vase, putting a napkin in your lap, some of the easy ones. Whereas we can move to some of the harder, which is put toothpaste on a toothbrush, last year's challenge for the contest, putting on a hat, not as easy as you might think. And then all the way in the end, whereby watering a plant or even making popcorn for a movie. And the book just is a step-by-step guide for each of those pieces. So every page is beautifully illustrated. I've checked everything, made sure that they work, and I have physically built all of these machines. Really cool manuscript. If you're still trying to figure out how to build Rube Goldberg, if you're still very new to it, can't recommend this enough. I love going to schools. I love giving presentations. I love doing the Q&A, but this is something where I'm literally right here and I can help anybody along with it. And not only that, if you're somebody that you might not have all the materials in the book, maybe you don't have a piggy bank or a big rubber duck, things like that. This is the Big Book of Building. And what I have over here is the Big Box of Building. This is in the works as well, whereby, again, you need that rubber duck, big giant rubber duck. You need a baseball. Whoop, I dropped the baseball. You need a baseball. You need an actual slinky. If you need the bird seat, if you need the toy car, the string, all of the tools, the surge protector. I mean, I'm just trying to fill this box with literally as many things as I possibly can to provide that for folks that actually buy the book. And in fact, the book is included in the box. It's a package set. We can sell them without the book if you really want to. But those are going to be available soon and perfect for Christmas. Now that I think about it, I don't know why we haven't thought of that before. But absolutely amazing, perfect Christmas gift. The book and the box. I'm not here to promote things, though. I'm here to help all of you. So for those watching, do leave your comments, any questions that you might have in the chat. Happy to answer them. Otherwise, the next big thing that I want to announce, other than the book being an amazing accomplishment, let me gloat for another moment a second because uh, I'm just over the moon about that. But the very next thing that I need to let everybody know, let me scroll to it on this page, is the fact that the date for the World Championship did have to change. I hated doing it. It still pains me a little bit to this day. But originally they were supposed to be on Saturday, April 5th. And unfortunately, due to scheduling issues with the facility that we were going to be, it's actually a military owned facility. And they own the rights to it no matter what. And even if an event is supposed to be there, they can still tell you that no, we need it. Apparently, anywho, moral being is I had to move the event 1 week earlier to Saturday, March 29th, and that's in 2025. And so that does align a little better with some people's spring breaks. I know it affects some people differently. If it does affect your team, let me know, reach out. We're working on all the different solutions. But overall, it actually is a huge positive because we get, my box is tipping on my giant whiteboard here. It actually allows more teams to come from the younger divisions. So far, it's actually been a really big change. And in fact, I keep mentioning it's the World Championship, and we have teams from all over the world signing up. We just actually added the Philippines 2 days ago, and they're bringing in a whole host of around 100 students into the contest. Australia is joining with over 1,000, and it's really exciting to see this contest grow. And I'm so sorry that I had to change the date. And I looked for a different venue. I looked for, if we could go later in the day. I tried every option available, and it wasn't feasible. So I just wanted to make that known. March 29th is the new day of the World Championship, if you haven't heard already. We have a comment from our favorites, the Boilermaker Rube Goldberg. They are here every week. Thank you guys for being here. If our volunteer moves something like a curtain that doesn't affect steps from going off, but allows the viewers to see those steps, would that count as a touch? No. It's got to be the touch being, if that curtain moves something around and then that curtain either is attached via string to the next object and that's pulling a step, sure. If you're just doing a little reveal, totally, it's totally doable. In 2011, one of my contraptions, we actually had a big giant curtain that came up and hid things from the audience to really highlight the finale of the machine. And it was ridiculously hard. It was very tough to do. So if that's something that your volunteer wants to do, is almost act kind of like a Vanna White, in that, you're pointing an arrow at the different pieces. Or if you're revealing a curtain and maybe something's hidden behind and then your volunteer opens the curtain, as long as that volunteer does not affect the chain reaction, doesn't affect one to the other, totally okay with it. You have my blessing. Just make sure that they don't accidentally knock something. And only the volunteer can do that. If you're moving anything within the machine, if you're touching anything, it's got to be the volunteer. Don't take this as a somebody off-site, off the machine can grab the curtain and do a reveal. The volunteer is so on and so forth, technically a part of the machine. So really good question there. Anyone else? Always happy to answer anything that you guys have. Boilermakers, I know you have a lot of questions. I can send you a link if you guys want to jump in, do the direct talk. I will text that to you guys super quickly because at the moment it's just us. It is a Wednesday after an election. Let's be honest here. That's kind of been affecting everybody's. It's been affecting everybody's day, whatever way you decide that. That you decide that it wants to affect you. Boilermaker, Rube Goldberg team. So let me send this to you guys really quick. Link, or you guys can also tell me no, and I can save myself from doing this while on a chat. Anyway, so with it, if you guys want to join, by all means, ask the questions. But other things. So we are getting up there, and we have a lot of international teams who are registered with the contest. US-based teams, we're on the lower side from our normal amount. And what I mean by that is a lot of our regulars have not yet registered yet. I know you all are building. I see the posts. I talk to you. I get the emails, but you've not yet registered for the contest. And we need you to, because if you're not part of our regular group, we actually need to see where you're coming from, and thus, um, so, sorry, no, it's all good, guys. Yeah, you guys, calling you out specifically. Hey, ASME, they registered already. Just fun fact there. No, but we do need all these teams to register because that tells us how many regional hosts that we need to get. We've done an amazing job this year in finding hosts all over the country. We have so many more coming for 2026. A lot of them are gearing up this year, moving on. So the contest is really expanding, really just elevating every single year. And there is, I had an amazing meeting where there's going to be a potentially enormous growth in contest for the 2026 season. But we don't care about that. We're on to this season. We're on to the fact that, this year's task is to feed a pet. And I've heard a lot of crazy ideas already. I've been getting those, in the rule book. Let me pull that up. Is, you can, as we go through the actual rules, things like the required, anything that is unsafe or allowed with prior safety approval. I've been starting to get those safety approval items, and some people have some very nifty ideas. Of course, I'm not going to share them. Have no fear if you were one of them. But then there's also some of the more outlandish ideas, especially involving animals and solving that final task. And again, what I always have to highlight with that is cannot be a real animal, cannot be a fake animal. We have a very few select regional sites that will allow an animal to be at the end. Now, that being said, for the World Championship, we are not allowed to have animals on that facility, on that site. So if you do decide to use an animal for your regional that does allow it, just bear in mind that you're going to have to replace that with something else. A very good opportunity to use your volunteer this year, as they could certainly be dressed up as an animal of any variety. Doesn't have to be dog or cat. In fact, always looking for that wild creativity as such. But just keep it within limits in that regard. Because boy, there's just one email that I got, and I genuinely I sat there, I scratched my head for about 5 minutes trying to figure out how am I going to answer this, because they made a very good point, but at the same time, I'm like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that I can allow this. And in fact, I made a note that this needs to get changed for next year's rules. And here I thought that I was getting more ironclad with the rule book every single year. So, anywho, make sure that you're not feeding a real pet. Make sure that you're doing something creative. It's what I always stress is that when you're building your contraptions, be unique, do something interesting. It is far and above better to do creative risks than it is to just have a perfectly functional machine. And even pulling up the rule book for this year, pulling up the judging, where another one of these, I'll go through the judging manual a little bit more more thoroughly, maybe severely, who knows. But really, just taking the emphasis away from if the machine, taking it away from what I do during the main emceeing of the Purdue Boilermaker Rube Goldberg team completed the final task with only one intervention. And yeah, it's the narrative. It gets the crowd excited. But overall, if you get one intervention or 10 interventions, yes, it's definitely going to be scored differently. But all the other components matter. I mean, how the judges look at this contraption, looking at your theme. Did you just throw a bunch of everyday objects, or did you try to make a magical wonderland out of your entire set? Again, I reference the Boilermaker team because they're here, with Breathius the Bad, and really creating that narrative behind putting toothpaste on a toothbrush, why to do it. And, you can see I made it 20 categories this year instead of the standard 10 because it's really our goal to make this a very rounded STEM-oriented event that isn't focused on just does it perfectly work or does it fail. There isn't just a yes or no category in that regard. That being said, there is a yes or no in terms of the task completed. As I always tell people, and I'll tell you every single time if I have to, make sure your task gets solved, whether you do 15 interventions or if it's perfect run. If your machine does not feed a pet in some way, shape, or form, you're going to lose those points. And it really is a detriment all throughout. So just however it gets done. However, if you have a cup of food off on the side and you've got to dump the food into the container, it's not ideal by any means. Make sure you get the point by completing the task, the assigned task being feed a pet. But again, our goal here is to make this a well-rounded STEM event where if it works, phenomenal. Absolutely, you're going to get amazing points. But if not, there are many other categories. And I've said this in other Q&As, I'll say it again, is that our goal is not that you get a perfect 200 score. You're going to get 200 points for your machine if you're doing the Rube Goldberg Machine contest. Really, the goal is that nobody should ever get that absolute perfect score because we want there to be room for improvement each and every year. There is always room to grow. Nobody's perfect, myself included, with any of my contraptions. And I was a part of the contest for 8 years. Fun fact that anybody didn't know that I'm not just writing the rules from scratch. I'm not coming up with these things out of thin air. I was a contestant for 8 years of this contest, earning 2 Guinness World Records and several national titles. And I speak with genuine, the genuine reality behind these different contests. Now, a lot of you, if you aren't a part of the Rube Goldberg Machine contest, you're going to be starting to build your Rube Goldberg machines for probably STEM events, or your teacher might have asked you to do that. And again, if you're part of the contest, amazing, phenomenal. If you're not a part of the contest, then you still need to learn how to do this. And while I love to travel, go into schools, what have you, I can't. I really can't. So what I've made is a video playlist, also on my YouTube channel where we're at right now, and it's the How to Build Your Own Rube Goldberg Machine series. And this is step-by-step videos showing you how to build these contraptions, how to correctly count the steps, how to do all the elements necessary to build a Rube Goldberg machine. If you've never done it before. I highlight this because this is kind of the, I don't want to say condensed version, but it's the in your hand version model of what this entire playlist is. But it's a really phenomenal place to start. And I'm highlighting this as well is because I have more videos coming out. I was able to get more grant funding in which I'm going to be securing or dedicating more time to telling, how to build your base. How much time does this take? Because a lot of you, when you're building these contraptions, when you're trying to figure out how much time it's going to take you to build this, hey, Boilermakers, how long have you been building your contraption for? Leave it in the comments because I know you guys have been going for a little bit of time, right? But that's not always the case. And I have an upcoming video that tells you exactly if you're in the elementary group, if you're in 3rd grade, how much time you should dedicate to the project if you want it to be if you want to be successful, or if you're in middle school, high school, or even collegiate. Some good examples there. But that's gonna be a really useful video, and it highlights all the different pitfalls in which people get caught up when building a Rube Goldberg machine. Because there is a way where you can build these contraptions in only 4 days' time. I tried showing it in my last Q&A session, my 2CK Volleys machine. This thing was 40 feet by 30 feet, and I built this in only 4 days. But I've also been doing this over 30 years. I'm an expert. That's why you're here watching me, because I somewhat know what I'm talking about on some days. And so, but yeah, I was able to do that in 4 days, and we can find that some students building just, roughly this footprint right here, they might spend weeks on it, and that might be a team of multiple individuals. The Boilermakers, for great example, they've been going for 2 months now already. So well done to you guys. I'm very curious to see how much progress you've made in the 2 days. I don't know what you guys are up to, but I'm always excited to see what kind of crazy madness. Oh, and also your rivals from Arizona, they have been going for, I think, a little longer than you guys. I saw Instagram posts from them that was a little further back. So, just a little nudge in the ribs right there for that. But again, if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. That's what I'm here for. I can ramble all night. I can talk about Rube Goldberg. I can talk about how to build these things, but I want to make sure that is right. Yeah, they're going strong. They took their they want to step it up. I can see it. I can see it in their posts. And you've got some real competition. I think what I'm going to announce right here, right now, I was debating on saying it, But if you are one of the collegiate teams, if you're and part of any one of them, we're going to go to the remote regionals again. However, for the most part, every collegiate team that's going to be registered is probably just going to go direct to World Championship. And really, that's our way to allow, not rule anybody out. Because collegiate back in its heyday, my God, we're talking 2011, 2012, used to have 100 to 150 college teams from around the country participate. And because of COVID and other reasons, it definitely tapered off. So last year we only had 3 teams that were able to make it to the nationals at the time. This year there'll definitely be more, but in order to kind of promote that, in order to avoid regionals, headaches, give you more time to build, things like that, there'll still be the remote regionals in which I just want to see your progress. I want to make sure that you're going to, make it to the World Championship. But I'm going to say that for the collegiate contest, for the Division 3 group, you will not go to a regionals this year. Everyone else, absolutely. There are tons. There's a staggering amount of apprentice Division 1 and Division 2 teams. I'm so thrilled with that. We're of course working for the collegiate teams. We're getting more. I have a call with another group that might actually add a few more. But just making that announcement because I know Boilermakers, you're here now when you guys are worried about the regionals. So just want to ease any ease any worry you might have. Now, be careful of that because obviously the regionals for everyone happen roughly between February to mid-March. And just because I'm giving you more time, don't slack off. It's make sure that you still get a contraption roughly in the works by, I'll call it early March. If you're a team for any division, sparing apprentice, I'll give you a pass on it. Really trying to make sure that your contraption's set ready to go by March. And that's going to allow you to figure out how you're going to travel with it, how you're going to bring it to Purdue University on March 29th if you're making it to the World Championship, or if you're bringing it to one of your local regional contests, because 9 out of 10 of you have to bring your machines places. And, you're not just building them in the site. There's one regional that I have to say that 9 out of 10, because they're just lucky enough that they have enough teams compete that they just build it right there, have the contest right there, and they're incredibly lucky. So anyway, any more questions? I don't want to take up anybody's time too much tonight. I just wanted to make a lot more announcements than more clarifications. I'm always happy to go over more elements. As we get closer to the contest, what I'm also going to do, let me share my screen again. So on, sorry, I share my screen. On the rule book, you'll notice that there's places that say for the awards, that each division will see their own set of awards, and then these awards are based on the judges' interactions. And there's supposed to be a rubric behind every single one of these, how you're going to win the creativity award, what they're specifically looking for. There it is. Click on each to view these specific guidelines. And I haven't quite written them yet. I apologize. There's still plenty of time, of course. But the one that I do have done is the Contraption Master Award. And this is what it's going to look like. There's going to be the actual guidelines for how these things are judged. So not just arbitrary like it has been in the past, but did it actually share this tab? There it goes. Sorry, I didn't switch to this tab. Yeah, so the guidelines, the actual showing what we're looking for, what I'm looking for, because this is actually my award that I'm going to be giving out, things like that. But then going back to this, each one of these, they'll have their own little rubric. And then also for the judging definitions, eventually each of these, the first impression, overall, theme, every single one of these 20 categories, I'm going to create something that gives the judges, a how to score it. What is a 1 versus what is a 5? Because I think there's been a lot of ambiguity over the years. Of course, as there's been different national contest directors, different people say different things. And, really just want to make this, make me your source for everything Rube Goldberg, not only that, but just make this a very consistent, crisp contest as we move forward. Because, yeah, like I said, we have such amazing growth around the world. We have that going on. We have the teams joining us, again, turning to the World Championship. The book, we have an incredible first print run and an incredible amount of pre-orders already. I don't know when they're going to run out. Order yours early if you are going to. I know there's a sale on Amazon, by the way, but there's just such incredible momentum behind Rube Goldberg at the moment. And if you're here, if you're watching, I'm really happy to help you in any way that I can. Always. I'm going to leave it open for one more minute for questions. If anybody's got anything, otherwise, I don't want to take up anyone's time. Time is valuable, and honestly, in that back there, I have all of the Rube Goldberg boxes to assemble. It's if I'm going to put my name on it again, the book, the box, what have you, it's me. It really is me doing this because I want to make sure that it's perfect, just clear cut, that it is the correct quality, the correct thing to present to people. Make sure that you're getting your money's worth. Make sure that you're getting the proper information, and yeah, make sure that you love Rube Goldberg maybe 1/10 as much as I do, because as always, like I've made this my entire life, and I'm happy to share it with those. So with it, if nobody has any further questions, as always, reach out to me. It's zach@rubegoldberg.org. Any questions? If you need any of those prior approvals, send them to me. Happy to do that. The regional hosting, when you find out which regionals you'll be going to, some people have already started to receive those. If you're one of the collegiate teams, know that you're not going to a physical regionals. You're going to do a remote regionals in more of you're just submitting a video to show proof that you're actually a team, and then you move directly on to the World Championship. Registration, make sure teams register. Get on that. Really try to get that done for us as soon as possible. With it, though, I am Zach from Zach's Contraptions. I hope you all have a lovely evening. I hope you all enjoy the book if you do get the book, and I hope that you, as always, learn something from what I do, because Rube Goldberg's awesome. It is just the more I do it, the more there's just always more to learn and have fun with this amazing topic. So, with it, have a good night, everyone. Take care.